Okay, so we're back one more time, and we're going to go through some basic stuff today. This is about models and properties. So in my journey to be able to generate applications without actually having to type everything, all the boilerplate information, I am trying to construct these models using a graph. So let's just get to it. So the first thing I do is create a new node. In this case, I'm just going to call it model so it's easy to understand. I'm going to pin it to the board, and now I have this model I can move around with this little cupcake icon. That means absolutely nothing, but I thought it was pretty, so here we are. And then I make sure I set it to a node type of model, and then I go in here and I will, in this case, I'm not going to do any of this stuff right now. I'm going to set some default properties. So like these default properties are what RedQuick library is basically assuming it already has. So like there's a base class that will have all these properties in it, so I just add them here so I can access them from different parts of the application that will be built eventually around a model that looks like this. So we have like a version, so like this is like a version control, so this is just an integer that will tick up one whenever this model or instance of a model is actually updated and deleted, meaning this model doesn't exist, it's a soft delete. The owner is like based on whether or not like the agent's role or the user's role has who has ownership over this one in particular. The ID is just an ID, and updated tells you when the last time this model's been changed, and created tells you when this model was actually created. So if we're going to add another property to this model, we just hit that button, and we get this new model property, and then we can call it like something that makes sense, like first name. So like let's assume that this is like there's going to be some sort of form where you're going to enter like a name, and maybe you want to enter another property like we'll enter last name, so you just hit add property, and that adds another property. So we got like a last name in there, so now we would have last name and first name, and that's how we create a model. Now just to prove this actually creates something, and last thing, we have to make sure we set like the type on these. So first name is also a string. So then we go to look at the code that would be generated. So we get the code view down. And so since this is a model, we find the models up here, and then the model type will appear there, and then this is the new model. So we have first name and last name. Those are the properties that we have added, and then our D-based data type, which is our base type in the RedQuick framework, will hold the other properties. And that's how you create a model in RedQuick Builder.